family and friends, everybody that is watching from home or wherever else you are, inside, outside, the last Sunday of this month. We're having another service starting in about 9 minutes, so if you're in your car, step on it, you might not be late. Other for the people that stay at home, you can prepare yourself for the next few minutes to have a new kind of service that we haven't had in a long time. Yes, and that you will. In the meantime, I'm just going to play the guitar a little bit past the time.
30 seconds. And clap. And clap.
Welcome, welcome, I'm glad you're here with me. Did you know you're one with God for eternity? Welcome, welcome, I'm glad you're here with me. You're not a stranger anymore, now you're family. Welcome, welcome, I'm glad you're here with me. Did you know you're one with God for eternity? Welcome, welcome, I'm glad you're here with me. You're not a stranger anymore, now you're family. You're not a stranger anymore, now you're family. You're not a stranger anymore, now you're family. Welcome. Good morning and welcome. The last Sunday of this month. So for the last time this month we're singing our joy song. We're choosing heaven again today. So if you're comfortable with standing, are the words up on the words are up on
Great.
our
How about that? That's pretty cool.
on the CD. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing. I'm choosing love today. I choose abundance today. I choose abundance today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing. I choose abundance today. I choose compassion today. I choose compassion today. I am walking the road for heaven right now, singing. I choose compassion today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road for heaven right now, singing. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road for heaven right now, yeah. Singing, I'm choosing heaven today.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Vero Beach, where our mission is teaching, loving, and inspiring people to be all they are created to be. I have a quick announcement before we get to the excitement of today. We extended our brick campaign for just a week. There were a few people who wanted to get a brick done before our beautiful Peace Pavilion and Pathway dedication November 14th. So that closes on Thursday. So you still have a few days. And if you haven't had a chance to walk out and look at the inscribed bricks that are already there, you may want one. So we can make that happen up until next Thursday. Last November, our transition team surveyed our congregation as to what they wanted for a new minister. A search committee was formed and completed the entire complicated process. I will always be indebted to Keith Ebel and Lloyd Colby for doing all of the paperwork. We submitted the paperwork, and we have been interviewing and reviewing applicants. And today we welcome Reverend Russell Heiland, who is our minister candidate, and he's been with us all weekend. We ask that you attend a meeting following this service. We'll have a short break, and there will be a Zoom meeting, and this is important information if you are home. Please go to unityofvero.org, click on events, go to August 29th at 11:15 with Reverend Heiland, and you'll see the Zoom. You click on that, and you're ready to go. You're part of the Zoom meeting, and I believe we'll be projecting it above. This meeting, the question and answer meeting, will be conducted by the chair of our search committee, Keith Ebel. Thank you for that. Assisted by Marty Mahalko, in a forum to ask questions of Reverend Russell so that you will be able to give the board feedback. We welcome your feedback. So today is a very happy and exciting day. We welcome you with open arms and open hearts. This is exciting. We're really excited, and we welcome you and your husband, Anthony. There's so much to say about Reverend Heiland. Yesterday, some of us who were lucky enough spent a couple of hours with him where he compacted a 7-week study on the 12 powers and 7 chakras. 7 weeks into 2 hours, and wow, it was amazing. Russell has been the senior minister at Fairfax, Virginia at Unity since 2013. Before that, he was in St. Petersburg. He is a true spiritual leader and mentor. He is an energized fundraiser. He is a community activist, and he's also an activist in the Unity movement, serving as a leader on many teams and many committees. And so without further ado, we welcome you warmly. Thank you.
So we are so grateful for technology. Anthony and I are so grateful for the opportunity to be here this weekend. We have been treated like royalty, and I will be afraid to get on the scale when I get home, if you know what I mean. It's just been that good. But our hearts are even more full than our bellies. So thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Keith and the search team. Thank you, board. Thank you, everybody. It's been a wonderful experience. Well, whenever we gather together in a unity setting, prayer is always the first item on the agenda. So why don't we move into that sacred and holy space now? I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or simply lower your gaze and allow it to light on a spot a few feet in front of you. Let's just breathe into the sacred holiness of this gathering as we feel together the activity of Spirit moving through each and every one of us and moving as each and every one of us. Join together to further the mission of Unity Spiritual Center of Vero Beach. And in my prayer this morning, I invite us to take into our hearts and into our minds the children of the world, all the children who are exposed to so many facts of the day, many of them just frightening. And we see these children enfolded and infused with the power of Spirit, so that they might know beyond the facts that each and every one of them is an individualized expression of the magnificence that we call God. And that they might grow in the fullness of their understanding of their inherent being, so that they might be in the world and not of it, so that they might not be overcome by the world, but be transformed by it, so that their light might fully shine in every way, and allow each one of them to give their gifts freely and without reservation, so that this world might know the truth, that all is one, that life is paramount, that challenges are stepping stones to greater good. Yes, we remember when Jesus said, "Let the little ones come unto me, for it is to such belongs the kingdom." So let us bless these leaders now and the leaders of the future with the knowing of who they are with unshakable faith. And let us include this as part of our service today, this consciousness. Bless the children. This we affirm in the name and through the power of the living Christ. Amen and amen.
Good morning. I am Faye Prado. I'm your prayer chaplain today, and I will, mask. I get to take my mask off. I will be available for prayer in the new location of the Prayer Chaplain's Corner, which is moved from stage left to stage right. During that short break, before we have the meeting with Reverend Russell. I'm also a member of the search committee, so I'm very proud to stand with our candidate today, and I think you will like him. I do. The search committee's affirmation concerning this search is the following. Together we affirm and give thanks for the inspirational, energetic, and innovative minister that we know is on his or her way to us now. And now the daily word. The word today is awareness. The affirmation is, the world feels new as I grow in awareness. Spending time in mindful contemplation increases my awareness of my surroundings. As I concentrate and focus my attention, I shut out distractions and settle my unquiet mind. My world begins to feel brighter, vibrant, and more alive as I notice the soft sounds and minute textures and colors I overlooked before. Spending time in prayer increases my awareness of God's goodness, which I share with others when I am patient and kind, generous and forgiving. This goodness returns to me as kindness and gentleness in the people I meet, and ease and grace in all the places I go. The world has not changed, but I have. My awareness of God in and as my life has opened my eyes and ears, my mind and my heart. Again, the affirmation is, the world feels new as I grow in awareness. Let's repeat that together. The world feels new as I grow in awareness.
Peter and I are going to perform the song, I Need to Be Still, into God's Prepare Me to Be Your Sanctuary. So let's everybody just take a nice, big, deep, relaxing breath as we prepare ourselves for meditation. I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world seems to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. I need to let go. I need to let go and let God take over. I need to let go. I need to let go and let God take over. And take these burdens off my shoulder. I need to be still and let God take over. I need to be still and let God love me. God, prepare me to be your sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. God, prepare me to be your sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
So let's take a deep and gentle breath in and let it go with an ah or a sigh. You may wish to close your eyes if you have not already done so. And with the next and the second breath beyond that, breathe deeply and become aware of your body. You may wish to make sure your feet are firmly planted on the floor so that you might connect with the earth and her amazing resident energies of life and wholeness. You might also wish to see if there's any place in your body that you might be holding some tension. Maybe your shoulders seem to be a little closer to your ears than they need to be. So just say, peace, be still, and relax. Feel them droop a bit. You might notice maybe some tension in the back of your jaw. And if so, just affirm to yourself and to your jaw, peace, be still. Perhaps your lower back might be feeling some tension. And again, affirm peace, be still, and just allow the chair to support your weight. There's nothing you need to do, but simply relax for a few moments in this intentional practice of peacefulness. And taking another deep and gentle breath. You might become aware of the temperature in the room or the breeze from the fans, and if so, just notice that. These are simply sensations. There's nothing to do about them. Just acknowledge that they're there. You might be aware of thoughts that cross your mind. That's okay, they're just thoughts. They come, they go. And if you notice something coming into your consciousness that wants your attention, just say to yourself, thought, and let it go. After our practice, you can go back and revisit the thought if you even remember what it is. But don't worry, it'll come back. So we just acknowledge thoughts. And the same thing with feelings. Sometimes when we allow ourselves to relax, or even if we don't allow ourselves to relax, we become aware of feelings that seem to come out of nowhere. Sometimes say feelings are thought that are not yet speech ripe. So we just acknowledge feelings and let them go. And again, after our practice, you may want to go back and revisit them, or not. They'll come back, or not. Our practice is simply to be still. Be still and know. Be still and know I am. Be still and know I am God. Whatever you conceive God to be. As we move into a period of silent meditation for a few minutes, I invite you to just be with the infinity of divinity. In the stillness and in the silence where we commune and connect with the creative power of the universe. And just let it flow through us. Be in us. Be as us. In stillness. In peace. In silence. So I invite you to take another deep and gentle breath. And let it go with an ah or a sigh. Yes, and another. And you may wish to wiggle your fingers and toes and allow your breathing to become a little more rapid. As you bring your awareness back to this time and this space, and this amazing day, we are indeed blessed by our practice, and may our practice be a blessing to the world. Namaste.
Namaste.
So we were trying to find a song that kind of sort of like matches the talk title, even though we don't know exactly what the talk title is, so we were just guesstimating. Had something to do with fears, if I heard it right. So
I'm afraid so.
I'm afraid so. So here's a song that I wrote a few years back. It's called Life is Not Waiting for the Storm to Pass. And I thought that might be a fitting song for today. Life is not waiting for the storm to pass. It is learning to dance in the rain. Taking the challenge, facing my fears, overcoming the pain. The raindrops from the darkened sky mix on my face with tears. And as my eyes search for the light, I'm looking at my fears. I'm looking at my fears. The heart is strong in many ways, and yet it's so, so frail. It beats for us our whole life long, yet in the end will fail. And still it beats tirelessly for some 100 years, while others in their prime of life are taken from their peers. If God's in me and I'm in God, what is my reason to be? Still in this world and on this earth, what do I need to see? Expressions of fear, expressions of love, expressions of joy and of pain are all expressions of myself, and not one is in vain. I cannot lose, I cannot fail, I simply choose to be and learn the lessons that I chose to grow and to free me. Life is not waiting for the storm to pass. It is learning to dance in the rain. Taking the challenge, facing my fears, overcoming the pain. The raindrops from the darkened sky look on my face like tears. And as my eyes look at the light, I'm dancing through my fears. I'm dancing through my fears. Yes. Life is not waiting for the storm to pass.
It is learning to dance in the rain.
Thank you.
A perfect selection, if I say so myself.
Thank you.
I love it when we have the opportunity to experience divine order and it shows up as music. So thank you, Peter and Betsy Joe, for that selection. So here's a question I have for all of you. Are you ready to engage your faculty of will to move your life towards vibrant and victorious living? Show of hands. Anyone want to engage your faculty? Hey, all right. Just had to check behind me just to make sure we're in consensus. Because that's what I want to talk about. I want to build on the theme of the faculty of will that Unity Spiritual Center of Vero Beach has been studying for the month of August. Because will is the executive function we all have, but let's be candid, maybe some of us don't use it all the time on a consistent basis. Well, maybe nobody here, but you probably know someone. Yeah, of course, because it's easy to be decisive and clear when things are going well, right? And it's a little more difficult when the facts are kind of odd, and we've had some odd facts lately. But what I found all too often is what knocks us off our A game, as it were, what causes us to lose our resolve, what causes our will to go looking for the door, is fear. They say, whoever they are, they say that fear is actually an acronym for false evidence appearing real. Have you heard that? Yes. Okay. I've also heard it represent forget everything and run. So maybe you've heard that one as well. But for today's purposes and for the next few minutes, we want to assume the definition of false evidence appearing real. So I do invite you to remain seated with your seatbelt fastened, because we may be in for a little spiritually enlightening turbulence before we get to smooth sailing. And I promise we'll be out of here by 4 o'clock. So, do you all remember that show? It was on a while back called Fear Factor. Did you ever watch that show? It ran from 2001 to 2018 on different networks, and originally the host on NBC was Joe Rogan. So the show opened with an introduction from the narrator that went something like this. Imagine a world where your worst fears become reality. Well, hard stop right there. Okay, because that is a misuse of our faculty of imagination. You know, worry is the misuse of our faculty of imagination. But I digress, so let me start over again. I have to get into the position. Imagine a world where your worst fears become reality. Welcome to Fear Factor. Each show, 6 contestants from around the country battle each other in 3 extreme stunts. These stunts are designed to challenge the contestants both physically and mentally. If the contestant is too afraid to complete a stunt, they're eliminated. And if they fail a stunt, they're eliminated. But if they succeed, they will be 1 step closer to the grand prize of $50,000. That's a $5,000 tithe to Unity Spiritual Center. But that's So with the exception of the $50,000, sounds a lot like 2020, doesn't it? You know, we had all kinds of challenges. So the first stunt was usually a physical stunt, such as like hanging from an airplane and having to pick up stuff off the ground, or a helicopter. And the second stunt was a mental challenge of some sort, such as having to eat gross things or lay on the ground being covered with creepy crawlies. And the third stunt was usually something like from an extreme action movie. Yeah, where stuff gets blown up. But anyway, the bottom line was that if a contestant conquered their fears, they won the prize, right? Life is a lot like Fear Factor. Because if we lean into and overcome the things that frighten us, there is indeed a grand prize to be had. And it may not be $50,000, but it might be something better than that. Peace of mind. Amen. Or self-confidence. If we try and fail, at least we have the satisfaction of knowing, I tried. Yay me. I got at least a star by my name. But if we don't even try, there's no way to get a prize. The fear wins. And as individuals, we remain stuck in whatever self-limiting pattern or paradigm we've been living in. And the only prize for that is regret. So I want to live vibrantly and victoriously, without regrets. I'm just going to assume you do as well. So when I think about fear and the whole notion of it, there are three questions that automatically come into my mind. What are the things that people are afraid of? Why don't people address their fears? And the most important one, how can we overcome our fears and achieve vibrant and victorious living? You know, that's what we're about in Unity and New Thought, is practical tools that allow us to have life and have it abundantly. You know, it's almost a unity heresy to address the subject of fear from the platform. But I often say, until we know the facts of the matter, we can't really apply the truth to the matter because we really don't know what we're dealing with. And I realize that there are many friends in New Thought who contend that if we speak about the details of the problem, the thing, we will simply magnify the problem or the thing and implant the seeds of the problem in our minds, thereby increasing the likelihood it is going to happen. I must say I thoroughly disagree, and I'll tell you why. Because if that is the case, then every medical person in this world would be a walking cesspool of sickness. Every insurance agent would be a walking disaster looking to happen. And every law enforcement officer would be a walking embodiment of every crime that could be committed. So I think it is imperative and important for us to clearly identify or name the thing to be released, the problem to be let go, which is something that is easier said than done, but when we activate our spiritual tools, we can do it. And then we need to work for what do we want to put in its place. You know, as Jesus is quoted to have said in all four Gospels, you can't put old wine into new wine into old wineskins. And I like wine. I'm just going to say it. I don't like whining, but I like wine. So this analogy really strikes close to home with me. So out with the old and with the new. All right, so let's look at the first question. What are people afraid of? Well, there's all kinds of fears, and technically you could be afraid of anything. Common fears include snakes and spiders, which made regular appearances on the show Fear Factor, if you remember. But there are some real common ones, such as glossophobia, the fear of public speaking and singing. Catagelophobia, the fear of being ridiculed. Anissophobia, the fear of criticism. It also means the fear of having committed an unpardonable sin. Thanatophobia, the fear of death or the fear of the dying process. Decidophobia, the fear of making decisions. And then there are some that are particular to a faith community setting, such as hamartophobia, which is the fear of sinning, which we interpret in New Thought as meaning the fear of committing self-induced nonsense. S-I-N, self-induced nonsense, from the work of Eric Butterworth. Hadeophobia, the fear of hair. Heresyphobia, the fear of challenges to the official doctrine. Ecclesiophobia, which has two parts. The fear of churches, which might be the fear of the buildings themselves, or what the buildings represent. And homiliophobia, the fear of sermons. I kid you not, it's a thing. Well, congratulations. I want to thank those of you who are here in the house. You have overcome your fear of sermons. Those of you watching on Facebook Live have not only overcome your fear of sermons, but you have overcome cyberphobia, the fear of computers, or at least you've come to live with it. So let's build on success, right? We can only build on success. So way to go, folks. So I'll let Charles Fillmore, co-founder of the Unity Movement, answer the second question. Why don't people address their fears? Well, how do people get stuck? Fillmore wrote, fear is a paralyzer of mental action. It weakens both mind and body. Fear throws dust in our eyes and hides the mighty spiritual forces that are always with us. Blessed are those who deny or release ignorance and fear and affirm the presence of the power of Spirit. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
So these spiritual forces Fillmore was talking about includes the spiritual practice of denial and affirmation, as well as our various and sundry New Thought teachings, of which there are many. So ultimately, though, in order to have life and have it abundantly, as Jesus said in John 10:10, we have to choose to exercise our faculty of will and direct the use of all the tools at our disposal, even if we are afraid. So let me give you an example, because, we're about practical spirituality, so I got to give you a real-life example. So not too long ago, I was working on my laptop, and I was writing something, and something started to go haywire. Anybody ever have that? I see Lisa here with the laptop, so she totally gets it. So and I thought, oh my gosh, I've got a virus, and oh my gosh, I'm spreading the virus to everybody who's in my network. And oh my gosh, what if I have to get a new computer? We don't really have the money budgeted right now. And oh my God, I'm going to lose all my documents. And are they backed up? Oh God, please tell me I saved my work, because Jesus saves, and so should I. And I'll lose everything I just wrote, and I'm going to ruin my upcoming weddings, and everybody's going to hate me. How could I be so stupid? How could I let this happen? Which brought me back to ketagelophobia, the fear of being ridiculed, and enisophobia, the fear of criticism. Has this ever happened to anybody else? Okay, good. I'm not the only one. Friends of Unity Center of Spiritual Beach, Richard and Mary Alice Jaffola said, as long as we stay in fear mode, it's like being on a battlefield, and there will always be something to fear, another landmine to avoid, another decision based not on what is best for us, but simply how to avoid what we fear. Then it's so easy for the fears to multiply. They have an insidious way of reproducing, spawning countless arrays of new fears without our even being aware. They rob us of a great deal of freedom, especially our freedom to grow. But it's easy to understand why people don't address their fears. I mean, let's have some compassion here. Maybe people, maybe you, maybe I, have been hurt too many times. Or maybe we've seen others fail, and that image is implanted in our minds. Or maybe we've been conditioned to fear something without having really experienced it for ourselves. But let's look at the third question. This is where it gets juicy. How do we overcome our fears? Fortunately, the answer is very simple. Maybe not so easy to do if our faculty of will is out of practice, but it's simple nonetheless. To overcome our fears, we must cultivate a state of mind that is native to us all. Curiosity. Because in this polarity of how to overcome fear, at the other end is curiosity. Let's get curious. A simple change in phrasing of an interior conversation changes the energy of our experiences. For example, what becomes possible for you? What becomes possible for you at home? What becomes possible for me if the question is changed from, why am I afraid to this, to, how can I see this differently? Or, what can I do about this? Or let's just go big. Let's go really big. What can Christ in me do in this situation? Oh, I like that one. Pretty much anything. Matthew 19:26 reminds us that for man, for humanity in our personalities, it is impossible. But for God, for the Christ within each one of us, all things are possible. I looked, there is no exceptions list and no footnote. That's very different from how can I avoid this, as in forget everything and run. Our faculty of will, as the interior entrepreneur, is always looking to leverage the facts in service to the greater good. And actually, I haven't met a single entrepreneur or an engineer who hasn't been insatiably curious. What else can we do here? So curiosity asks questions. Curiosity wants to know. Curiosity leads to greater understanding. Curiosity leads to wisdom. Curiosity leads to innovation. Curiosity leads to creativity. And yes, curiosity killed the cat, but that is a different talk for a different day. Let's just leave the cats out of it for now. And really, last main point I want to make today. There's one element that as people of faith, we need to take in account along with this idea of curiosity. And that comes to us from Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, where it says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." What does this mean? I mean, aren't we taught that God is love? Aren't we taught to love God? It seems counter to fundamental New Thought teaching, doesn't it? But what we need to be aware of is that translations don't always do us a good service. Do you know why the Chevrolet Nova, anybody remember the Chevrolet Nova? Yeah. You know why it didn't sell very well in Latin America? Because the word nova in Spanish means it doesn't go. Ooh, should have thought about that a little bit sooner. They were thinking in terms of the Latin. It's new. And in Spanish, not so new. So the word in Hebrew that is translated as fear, yirah, can mean fear, but in a theological construct, it also means respect, reverence, and piety. So what we are taught that we are to reverence and respect the Lord, the creative power of the universe, and learn from it and grow and become vibrant and victorious. Every one of us, every person has power and influence. And everyone's power and influence is directed by their faculty of will. And there's good news and bad news with this. The good news is we can use our faculty of will and build up our world and our lives and make awesome things, but we can also misuse our faculty of will and destroy ourselves in the world. It's a lot like electricity. If we misuse it, then we can do a personal imitation of a piece of bacon. But if we use it wisely, we can have air conditioners and fans and AV and all this amazing stuff. And Facebook, so thanks for watching. I have a colleague who says, "Do you tell God how big your problems are? Or do you tell your problems just how big your God is?" And that God is always within us. And that power is always looking to be directed. So here's your homework, and this is where we'll end for today. I guess we'll get out of here before 4 o'clock then. I always like to give homework. So your homework is to think about whatever it is you are afraid of in your life. And it is perfectly A-okay to say, I have fear about X, Y, or Z. And ask yourself, how can I see this differently? How might I engage this differently? What is the blessing in this for me? How can I leverage this experience to my advantage in service to my calling as a human being? Because I assure you that whatever it is not bigger than the power of Spirit within you. And I can assure you that as you become willing to lean in and engage, you'll put yourself a little bit closer to that grand prize. It might even be $50,000. Peace be with you and namaste.
Thank you so much. You have empowered us today and this entire weekend. We thank you for all your generous contributions. We affirm that Unity of Vero Beach, Spiritual Center of Vero Beach is thriving. We affirm our abundance every day, and we're so grateful for all of your giving and sharing. So if you would please, ways to give. You can text my favorite, the word give, to 844-937-1769. Go to unityofvero.org and press the donate button. You can send us a check. And please request a prayer at unityvero@gmail.com. Anytime we can serve you. We have two very active prayer groups, the prayer ministry and the chaplains. So we would love to pray for you. And if you will please take your donation, your offertory, or your intention and affirm our prayer. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we say thank you, God. And today, Kate and Tammy will be collecting. Thank you so much.
That's another song that I wrote 2014. I was looking it up. I actually wrote this song towards myself because I felt I needed to build myself up a little bit. And these were the words that came to me when I was contemplating on who I am.
You are the gift the Father gave. You are the gift of love. You are a blessing to this world. You're a diamond in the rough. You are the gift the Mother gave. You're a gift of the divine. You are a present to us all, a light that sparkles and shines. Take this gift of light in you, illuminate the hearts of everyone that shares your world, because you're not apart. Can you see that as you give, you also will receive the love that is the essence of everything that is. This love is in the consciousness of every living thing, in people, plants, and animals, in paupers and in kings. You are the love, you are the joy, you are the peace on earth. You teach the things that you learn, a lesson lived since birth. You are the gift the Father gave. You are the gift of love. You are a blessing to You are a present to us all, a light that sparkles and shines. A light that sparkles and shines.
So what's left to be done here is we're going to be singing our peace song. Before we do, the prayer of protection. So if you feel comfortable about it, if you could stand and sing the peace song with us. Laura doing the intro after the emergency classes.
Peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family honoring. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Let us join in affirming the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much, and please take a quick break and come right back. And Keith Ebel and Reverend Heiland will be here to answer all of your questions. So have a nice break, and thank you so much.
Okay,
Okay,
that's my shtick.
wonderful.
Well,
I love your view.
there's,
Yeah, light this up.
sometimes it serves me well, so I am about that.